Hi, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time tuning in, I do a little bit of level design stuff here and there as I'm an amateur game designer. And recently I made a level in Aragami, and I've found that I really enjoyed using this level editor. So I figured I'd share a few tips and tricks and a few of the reasons why I think it's really nice to use. First of all is it's beautiful. The art style is very much in matching with the core game itself, and the core game itself is very pretty. It's a fantastical style version of medieval Japan in which you play Aragami, which is a type of shadow spirit. And with the level editor, you can create different objectives, and you can even have one of each objective in a level. So if you put area in a level, it's going to be the last objective. If it's the only one, then it's just a simple point A to point B level to try to get to the other end. If you add a relic or a victim, they have to be dealt with before the area objective. For this level, I've made it to where there's a relic, a victim, and the area objective. So first you can steal a relic, or you can kill the victim who patrols around first. And then the last thing you'll have to do is go to the area. The area can be placed inside of buildings. One of the few hiccups I've had with the editor is that enemies can't be placed inside buildings. But if you do something like this, where their patrol route would go past a building, if say this was a solid rock and they had this kind of patrol route, they would naturally path around it. But with a building, it does take into account that the inside is navigable. So it will just have the enemy actually walk through the building instead of going around it. So that is one way to have enemies go into buildings if that's something you want to have happen in your level. Another thing that I've loved is the varying kinds of decorations. Like there's a lot of cemetery work because a lot of the earlier levels of the game takes place in a cemetery, and so there's a lot of really beautiful decoration you can do with that, and between the brushes that it has, which are here. Yes, no, over here. Yeah. With the particle brushes that it has, you can place fog and fireflies. You cannot place fireflies right on a fog, but the fog kind of leaks out into the tiles next to it. So, like, you can put fireflies here, and if you put fog in the tiles around it, it'll look like they're occupying the same space. And you can use these to really make an area more thematic. So like I've got fog going down the middle street as well as along the outskirts of this village to kind of give it the sense of like a misty, foggy night. The one issue I've had with the editor is that the draw distance is fairly low. Like from this distance, it doesn't look like these are casting shadows, but as you get closer, you can see that they are. So I would recommend if you're editing a section to have it a little bit zoomed in and be working on just that one section at a time, because being a stealth game, shadows are important, and where shadows are located is important. Uh, Other than that, there's also the brushes, which allows you to paint things like grass, flowers, and rocks on the ground. The rocks looking like this, uh, as well as like a very wide variety of different types of decorations, from essentially a mountain to tree stumps to trees, medium ones, and even these are very pretty massive ones that then cover a large area in shadow. It allows you to do quite a bit with the various different things. And the enemy variety, it's fairly simple. There's only two kinds of enemies, warriors and archers. So if you're new to level design and new to like trying to make things and just trying to express yourself that way, I think this is a really good editor to use for that because it's not hyper complicated. One of the more complicated things is the different skills that you have in the game, and these you can learn fairly easily through just playing the game itself, which the game itself is really fun. And then you also have these shrine pieces, which each of those abilities you have, you only have 2 uses of each one. So these shrines then renew that. Yeah, there's quite a lot of really fun and interesting things that can be done with this editor. I've seen some really cool levels. You can make things that look like they're practically in the middle of the city. This one I've made to look like it's just a village that's been a little bit ransacked by war. It's like out in the forest. And yeah, you can build some fantastic things with this editor. I would highly recommend anybody who's. It also has very easy integration that you can immediately upload anything you make. Say here I go to settings. You can go to publish as long as you have a description and a name. You can put it right onto the Steam Workshop if you're playing it on Steam, of course. And through putting it directly onto the Steam Workshop, anybody can just with one click load your level and play it and give you feedback. It's really really valuable in that way. So yeah, that's my little overview of the editor. I would recommend getting in, playing around with it to learn more, and there's a lot you can do. So yeah, have fun making things.